The Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy is the organization responsible for preserving the beautiful landscapes and hiking trails along the Palos Verdes Peninsula. But this wonderful organization cannot exist without your help. And one of the ways you can help is by taking the PVPLC White Point Home Tour on September 15th. From your first glimpse, you'll fall in love with the architecture, landscaping, and design of these distinctive homes.
The theme this year for our home tour is Silver and Sage. It represents silver, which is the 25th anniversary of the Land Conservancy, and sage, which is the coastal sage scrub that we work so hard to preserve here at the Nature Center. So we're at the White Point Nature Education Center, which was built by the community about 8 years ago. This land had originally been owned by the military. It's also where the 2013 White Point Home Tour will be held on Sunday, September 15th.
Leslie, I understand you know a lot about the actual homes we're going to see.
What we do is we collect 5 homes from the San Pedro area. We request 5 homeowners to open their doors so that the community can come and see these homes. They are lovely. We have several cliffside homes and homes with marvelous views. And people sometimes don't think of San Pedro as a place with beautiful homes, and we have them here.
Do you have any sort of parameters when you look for homes? Do you have ideas on certain things that you would like? I mean, I don't say you want a shock value, but you probably look for things that are really different.
We certainly look for variety in the art that the homeowner might have, the architecture, the backstory. And so this year you'll find several of the homeowners who have done a lot of work on the homes or who have actually built the homes themselves. But some that are quite new, some, one really that was built last year, and some that have been around for 40, 50 years. So we really look for variety because that's what makes it interesting.
It's always impressive, Leslie, to talk to people who've been involved with the Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy. Tell me briefly a little bit about your background.
My home was on the first home tour 8 years ago.
Whoa!
And that was the beginning of my involvement with the PVPLC. Ever since then, I have worked on this event. It's so much fun. And
it's a labor of love.
It is very much a labor of love and supports the great work that the PVPLC does. I eventually served briefly on the board of directors, but have been a member of the committee working on the home tour for 8 years and have loved every minute.
Of all the houses I've been in the peninsula, this is probably one of the most incredible, fantastic houses. But over and above that, the background of how this house came to be is equally fascinating. So, Karina, tell us briefly, how did this house come to be? I understand that the top wasn't there, you made the top, and the top came from, 100 miles away or something?
Thereabouts, Corona, it's not even 100 miles away. It was built in a factory. Yes, I'd say it brings trailer trash to a new level.
And we challenge anyone who comes to visit our house to look at it as you come up the front walkway and tell where 100 miles away begins and the current house built on site ends. We made it seamless.
What was the thinking behind having a lot of different, mechanical or stuff to put this house together? You used a lot of different materials.
I'm a science and engineering teacher, and when we bought the lot, we took a long time to get permits, so we looked around, and I wanted to buy an old craftsman house from Pasadena, where they're extending the freeway. But then a custodian told us, go check out these houses in Corona. And when we saw them and how factory-built houses are sort of like factory-built cars. They're built to a high quality, they're far cheaper, and just as good. The house upstairs has huge open spaces because the roof was built upside down.
Wait a minute, are we talking about upstairs here?
The house upstairs.
You say the house upstairs. Is this 2 houses?
This is a studio. See, the way Graham got me to agree to do this was I would have a killer studio. I didn't really want to build. I wanted to keep life a little simpler. And he said, you'll have the best studio in the whole world, like what I had in Canada with big high ceilings. So this is the studio area, and then we live upstairs.
So these walls behind us are made of recycled styrofoam, set in concrete, fireproof, filled with concrete and steel in the cells.
Wait a minute. You have a house that's that's using recycled material?
There isn't very much you can do with styrofoam to reuse it. This is one really good use. It gives a good insulation. It makes it lightweight. The concrete makes it fireproof. And we built all of this bottom area, 16 feet high, 2,500 square foot box in 10 days, because the big blocks go together like Lego.
I think one of the things that just blew me away when I came to this house was when you see the incredible view here, you think to yourself, gosh, they must have bought this house, 50, 30 years ago. And it turns out they only bought this house 8 years ago.
We bought the property and then built.
Built, yes. So we bought an empty lot that was near a landslide, and the guys in the city were not very encouraging.
You bought a house near a landslide?
No, an empty lot.
Yeah.
This was just empty. And so we took a risk. That's why it was so cheap, probably. And
Well, that's why there's $150,000 worth of caissons and foundation
concrete in the
before
ground.
we even built. 'Cause thank goodness the city made us do it.
But what's
Because look what
100
happened down the street.
what's $150,000 for the foundations plus $50,000 for the land for a double oceanfront lot? So we did luck out by getting a cheap piece of land and really excellent foundations.
An artist's dream to have such a killer studio. So I'm very, very fortunate. I have my drawing and painting area, my sculpture with metal work, my gallery area, and then I could just go upstairs and have a laundry going or having something cooking on the stove.
An artist paradise. I know our viewers would be fascinated to have you tell us what is it out there with those stones, and then you said something about the red car, so tell me about that.
Okay. The Sunken City is visited by most teenagers around San Pedro and the Hill. And they don't know that the ruins over there used to be the Ocean View Inn. And in 1929, when the slide began to happen, pipes broke underneath the hotel. By 1932, it was dangerous, and the house at the end of Carolina, which is an empty lot now, was moved back into the neighborhood. The street got destroyed. The Red Line used to run on tracks right along Paseo del Mar in front of Walker's Cafe.
The red car trolley?
The red car trolley, they used to sell tickets in the round window inside Walker's Cafe.
We're sitting in yet another fantastic house on this tour, and it is another house that has a marvelous, marvelous view of the ocean. And we're talking actually with a very distinguished lady by the name of Lois Sprung. Tell us a little bit about your background. I know that you're very into watercolors.
I'm a past president of National Watercolor Society, which is one of the most famous societies in America today. The only other competitor we have is American Watercolor Society, which is in New York. So we are the West Coast National Watercolor Society.
This house that you're living in, I understand that you've lived here 40 years. When you came here in San Pedro, the house, I know that you built it yourself, but was the land completely vacant? I mean, there was nothing here?
There was nothing here but gophers and wild plants.
And you decided, I guess, with your husband to build a house here. And let me just read something for our audience. The house has no plaster or drywall. The walls are made of mahogany wood panels or fabricated Celotex panels. The wood cabinets can be moved if needed, changing the shape of the rooms. Tell me a little about all that. That's very creative.
Yes, my husband was way ahead of the group 40 years ago when we built, and he always thought it'd be nice to change the size of a room. So our 2-foot by 4-foot cabinets, which we use for storage and clothing and have shelving in, they can be moved.
And the view that you have here, I'm assuming that when you came here and you saw this vacant lot, did you assume and think, wow, this is a great place? Did you look at other places?
we were looking for empty lots because we knew we'd build again. The house we had in Playa del Rey, we built. And it was 17 years old when they tore it down. So we knew we'd build again on the ocean.
But tell me, why did you choose art? I mean, of all the things that you can do as an artist, what was it about watercolor that intrigued you?
Well, I do all kinds. I do oil and pastel and pen and ink. All art was part of my love, and I just fell in love with it.
And where can people see some of your work?
Well, I have work hung in the National Watercolor Society building, but I have to tell you, it's in the men's room and in the ladies' room. And I love it.
We've just given you a glimpse of some of the many fascinating homes in San Pedro on this Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy tour. And I hope you will come and see the rest of them on this really intriguing tour. Until next time, I'm John Clayton.